Welcome to the Heart Library.
No, I'm right! Just listen to me. I'm trying to help you. I'm not listening.
Hey kids, what's going on? It looks like we're having a little bit of a conflict. You know what this reminds me of? Of a special story. Do you know what time it is? It's story time!
Yay!
Come on kids, and let's listen to a story from the Heart Journey. So today we're going to be reading a very special story, a story about a young man named Julio. So let's begin. So there was a young man named Julio who was living in South America, and he immigrated to America, New York. Wow, New York sounds very amazing, right? When he came to America, it was a place that looked so nice and so rich. And he saw many big buildings and many wonderful things. But he also saw there were people who were kind of poor and they were on drugs. That's right. I said drugs. Oh my goodness. He thought to himself, it looks very scary here. When he saw the people who were on the drugs, it was very scary. But everyone, in America, drugs are sometimes very easy to come by. And Julio got his hands on some drugs. And unfortunately, he became so consumed by drugs. He was so caught into drugs. And he did drugs for more than 20 years. 20 whole years. That's 10 times 2 years. Oh my goodness. Everyone, as he was doing drugs, it was very clear to everyone that he had become an addict. Do you know what an addict is?
No.
Do you know what an addict is?
No.
No? That is someone who, even though they don't want to do drugs, they can't help but to be dragged by drugs or games or whatever. Even though they don't want to do it, they keep doing it. That is an addict. And he had become an addict to drugs. And so it was very sad. He became very tired. But one day, he decided, I'm going to go and get a job. And so he decided that he was going to go and get a job. And he put on his nice jacket and he put it on. He was very excited. He buttoned it up and he sat down in front of the boss. And after he sat down, he thought to himself, you know what? I hope I get this job. I've been on 25 job interviews and still I haven't been able to get a job. Please let me get this job, he thought to himself. But the boss looked at him. No, I am not going to hire you. And he was so sad. And he became very angry. And he decided, he took off his jacket, he stood up, and he thought to himself, I can't do this anymore. And he put away his jacket, and he became very angry. And so he thought to himself, what other job could I do? Everyone, go, And he thought to himself. But then the thing is, guess what? He thought about something he could do. When I first came to America, I saw people with cups on the begging and asking people for money. That seems like a very easy job. How about I try that? And so what he did was he started begging. And so he got his sign ready and he had his cup and he said, please help me. Please help me. Got any change? Got any change? And as many people as he asked, those many people would reject him. And so he started to ask each person, got any change? Oh, got any change? Oh, got any change? He became very exhausted, very tired. No matter how many people he asked, he only got a little bit of money, if any. He probably didn't even get that much. But the thing is, what happened, he looked in his cup and there was barely any money. And he thought to himself, I can't do this anymore. He put away his sign and he went back to the drawing board. What can I do to make money? I have to eat and I have to do my drugs. So he thought to himself, Everyone, And he thought to himself, he didn't know what to do. And then he had another idea. Because I tried to beg and it didn't work. I tried to get a job and it didn't work. Now what can I do? I can become a thief. And so, he put a bandana on his face. Hey, give me your money, give me your money. And he started to try to steal. But everyone, that wasn't easy either. So he thought to himself, I can't do this anymore. And he also gave up on that too. So now, there's a big problem. He tried to steal, it didn't work. He tried to beg, it didn't work. He tried to get a job and it didn't work. And he was so sad and so frustrated. What do I do now? There's nothing I can do. And he was so cold and so hungry and so sleepy. So he sat down on the bench, he gathered his jacket, and he laid down on the bench. And he began to sleep. And he slept. And then he woke up in the morning and the drugs were wearing off. The drugs were wearing off. And then he realized, oh, my body hurts so much. Oh, my head, oh, it hurts so much. Oh. And something else was hurting everyone. His stomach was hurting too. His stomach began to growl. He was very, very hungry. Oh, I'm so hungry. He began to be so hungry, but there was nothing around to eat. He didn't have any money. So he looked around, he looked around, he looked around, and then he thought, oh, that's right. Sometimes people put leftovers, they put their half-eaten food in the garbage. But I don't want to dig in the garbage, he thought to himself. But he didn't have a choice, and so he went to the garbage. Ew, garbage. But then he went to the garbage and he started to what? Dig in the garbage. Dig, 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 dig. And he found something. It was a half-eaten burger. Amazing! I'm so hungry. So hungry now, I'm satisfied. But he started to taste something strange. Something strange. And then he looked at the half-eaten burger. It's spoiled. It's rotten. He realized it was so rotten and spoiled. and he began to barf. Then he began to think to himself, wait, other families, if they want fresh bread, what do, boys and girls? They buy it themselves, right?
Yes!
Yes, they can buy fresh bread all they want. But he thought to himself, what about me? I'm eating moldy bread. Everyone else eats fresh bread. And then he saw the couples and the husband and wife and their children walking in the park, and the children and the families were laughing. But he didn't have a family. He didn't have a wife. He didn't have children. And he thought, look at me. I don't have a wife or children. I don't have a car. Normal people, they have a new car. But will I even be able to buy a junk car? I can't even buy fresh bread. And then he thought to himself, if I continue to live like this, I'm going to become very sick and maybe even die. That's what he thought. And it was so scary. Oh, so he thought, what can I do? I should change. But then at that time, the police came. Freeze! Freeze! And then they took him and he was so shocked. And the police put their hands behind his back and they took him to prison. And he went to prison and he sat down in jail. And then he thought to himself, boys and girls, how did I end up here? Again. And so he was sitting there all alone, sad. And then he was put in the rehabilitation program. Do you know what the rehabilitation program is?
No!
The rehabilitation program is the program that helps people quit doing drugs and other addictions. And so Julio had gone to the rehabilitation program before. But this time he sat down and the instructor came in. Do you want to meet the instructor, everyone?
Yes!
Okay, let's meet the instructor. The instructor, he walked into the room. He walked in and he had on his jacket. And he said, if you want to change, you have to listen to my voice. You have to do what?
Listen.
You have to do what?
Listen.
Yes. If you want to change, you have to listen to my voice. You tried to quit doing drugs by your effort. It didn't work, right? It didn't work. So if you want to change, you have to listen to my voice. And boys and girls, for the first time, Julio, he was sitting there and he was listening. For the first time, he was actually listening. Amazingly, the words of the instructor was entering into his ears. It was in there. The words were entering into his ears, and he started to change. But he started to look around, and all of his classmates were sleeping and talking. And so he looked around, sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. And Julio was the only one listening to the instructor. And little by little, his heart started to change. And it was very amazing to see. Oh my God, I never thought about this before. As the instructor was talking to him, he started to hear words that he never heard before. And those words, as he listened, became big strength inside of his heart. And one by one, Julio's heart began to change, and he started to have a very happy and healthy heart. And he decided to have a new life because of the instructor's words that he listened to. And The end. That was a very awesome story, right, boys and girls?
Yes!
Did you enjoy that heart journey?
Yes!
Yes, me too. So what did we learn from this story? I'll tell you what I learned, and I hope you learned the same things. First, like Julio, it's okay to be wrong. When you're wrong, then finally you can be able to listen to what your instructor is saying. Maybe it's not only your instructor, but maybe it's a friend, a good friend who's trying to give you advice. Or maybe it could be a parent who's trying to tell you something, or a brother or sister who's trying to tell you something. If you have your brother and your sisters at home, or your parents or your friends, if they're trying to give you some good advice, sometimes it's good to realize, oh, I could be wrong, and take their advice. Also, Julio realized that he had become a failure. He thought he was smart, that's why he tried to get a job. He thought he was smart, that's why he decided to beg. Oh, if I beg, it's gonna work. He also thought, if I steal, it's gonna work. But in the end, it didn't work, everyone. He could not do it by himself. He was not smart enough to do all that. And so it's okay to realize that I'm not smart and I don't know everything, of course. And then when you realize that you can be wrong, then you're able to listen to others. I hope that this story solved our conflict today. Did that help you, Laura?
Yes!
Did that help you, Lena?
Yes!
Did you like that, James?
Yes!
Yeah, so all of us could have such a great time today and learning about the world of the heart through our amazing story time. So thank you so much, everyone, for going on this amazing heart journey with us. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.